Help me to serve the people you put me to serve. Hallelujah, way. I'm about to get that cranked up. Prayers up, blessings up, we live, we live. So pull up in here and put it in park. I'm running 20 minutes behind schedule, which ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. We're gonna crank this thing up. Hold on one second, I'm coming right back. Prayers up, blessings up. Let's see who pull up. Let's see who pull up in here and put it in park. Prayers up, blessings up, we live. We live. About to crank this thing up. Let's see who pull up in here, man. Prayers up, blessings up. Lula, what they do, man? Pretty Carly, what's up? Prayers up, blessings up, man. Shay, what's good? Shaloma, what's good? All right, man. So I'm about to crank this thing up. My name's Jabez, and I'm not a vegan. I'm a Naturalite. You know what I mean? We about to crank this thing up. On this live, I want to explain how becoming a Naturalite helped me to lose 100 pounds. And I lost the weight still eating the foods that I like. You know what I like to eat? You know, I grew up eating meat. I grew up eating burgers, French fries, pasta, rice, potatoes. A lot of things that on the way I started believing I needed to stop eating. I like sweets. I ate all those things and lost the weight. And I didn't really exercise. I just walked. You know what I mean? And so I've been blessed to be able thousands of people lose weight, and I got to go to help over 1 million people get down to natural body size and stay there for life. So we're going to get into it on this live, man. Pretty what do, man? Patrick just finished the book, loved it. I appreciate that, Patrick. And if anybody, and look, also we're doing an Easter sale. I'm about to get into it, but if anybody want to grab a copy of any of my books, feel free. I got the link to our new website, Go Naturalite. We're running an Easter sale right now. If you want to grab a copy, feel free. I got the link underneath my pictures on all pages. You feel me? YouTube, do me a favor. I see we got 22 people on YouTube. Could somebody leave a comment in the chat? Because I don't know if the chat is on. Sometimes it might be tripping on YouTube. We live on a few different pages right now. Everybody say what's up. You know what I'm saying? We live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram right now. And we about to crank this thing up. What I'd like to know, yo, I'm here from Washington. I need your book. Maddie, it's all love, and I appreciate that. I don't know if you're talking about Washington State. I lived in Le Center, Washington for 7 years, which is just north of Vancouver, Washington. Growing up in my 3 years, man. Shout out Washington State, man. There's a lot of cool people in Washington. I live in Miami now. I've been in Miami since I was 16. I'm 42 years old. We about to crank this thing up. What I want to do is I want to know, actually, that made me want to know who's in the building. If y'all could do, I see the comments working on YouTube. That's what's up. Scotland, what they do. I appreciate that, Scott. Man, so who in the building? Represent your city, represent your state. Let me see who's in here right now. Memphis in the building. What they do, King, I see you. Minnesota in the building. I actually lived in Minneapolis for a little while, too. I was born in Wisconsin. I lived in 6 states. I actually talk about that in my first book, briefly, just to make a point. And I'm actually going to start the live with that same point. I see Texas in the building. Drop your city in the comments, man. Let me see who in here. Drop your state. Another one from Texas. Peace and happiness, what they do. Texas in the building. Valerie, what's up? Man, New York in the building. Healthy, what's good? Mississippi, Teresa out of Mississippi in the building. Little Rock in the building. Louisiana, Glitch, what they do? Glitch, Iowa, what's popping? Pittsburgh, Fort Lauderdale in the building. Pamela, what's up out of Fort Lauderdale? Nah, man, we down here in Miami. We right next, we neighbors. Idaho in the building. San Jose, California, what's popping, man? Jay, what's good? Kay, what's good out of Mexico? Newark, we got a nice little spread coast to coast right now. That's live. Jamaica in the building. Shout out Jamaica. I always wanted to go. I'm going to make it out there. Speaking of Jamaica, I don't want to get sidetracked. I was about to get sidetracked. Let me get back to that. I'm going to mention something about Jamaica, kind of. But because the lady that told me about this life was actually from Jamaica. Told me about this leaf, should I say. Zachary Ham. I just seen the order come through. Zachary is love. This leaf is called the leaf of life plant. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But what I wanted to do is make a quick note of the fact that, if you don't know me, my name is Jabez. I lost 100 pounds. This was me in 2004. And so I lost the weight still eating the food that I like to eat. That's why I wrote my book, Life Matters, So Let's Eat Like It, to explain how I did it. And And so a thing, something that happened along the way in my life was I moved a lot. So I was born in Wisconsin. I lived in Minneapolis, Wisconsin. And then I lived in Washington. I actually lived in Alaska for like a half a year when I was like 5 years old. Moved, and then I lived in California, Southern California. And when I was 16, I moved to Miami, and I've been in Miami ever since. I'm 42 years old now. And so moving around, and then my mom white, my dad black, and I had a lot of friends. Every time I moved someplace, I made new friends, and I used to love going to their house, and they'd come over to where I'm staying, and that type of situation. And so I was able to see a lot of different households. Is the point what I'm trying to make, in different, also different like categories of living, like upper class. I had friends that were rich, and I went and stayed the night at their house, and I was able to see the way they was eating. And then also, like I lived and had friends in middle class, and also I lived and have had friends in the lower class in poverty, and in white poverty, black poverty. I had Spanish friends, white friends, black friends. I'd seen some Asians, been in their households. Like different races. I was able to see in different states all over America. And the main thing I noticed in hindsight, because I ended up gaining a lot of weight in my later 20s, and I realized, and I talk about this in the mindset chapter, I realized I gained so much weight because when it came to food, I think anything deeper than what I had a taste for. And in hindsight, when I look back at all the different places that I've lived, moving around, growing up, the different families and households that I was able to experience, Lorraine Cobb, I just seen the order come through. Lorraine is love. I recognized that was the reality. When it came time for dinner, it was like, what y'all want to eat for dinner? Or what you got to taste? I got a taste for pizza. All right, let's go get some pizza. Or I got a taste, man, I got a taste for burger. I got a taste for, a sandwich. So that was as deep as I ever thought about food. And so think about this. What's unfortunate that this country is like how it is. And I want to give out some information on how that if you do got to go to lose weight, it will help you if you apply it. And it's not hard to apply. But the unfortunate thing is like 80% of the food, like it got heavily processed ingredients in it, chemical ingredients in it. And one of the side effects of a lot of these foods is weight gain. And so the fact that that's all I was thinking about growing up is what did I have a taste for? I had an 80% chance when I went to go get for that it was going to be something that was going to lead me towards weight gain. If it makes sense what I said, drop a yes in the chat. Sonia, what's up? It makes sense. My wife. Grown. I don't know. I didn't understand that one, but I think you might have misspelled some. Okay, good. I see the yeses. So okay, so here it go. Right. I'm 60 years old. We had a farm. We ate everything fresh. See, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And the funny thing is, I was able to experience country life, like extreme poverty in the hood. I was able to experience like the suburbs. I was able to experience a whole bunch of different type of lifestyles. And when I was growing up, I did not look at it like it was a blessing at all. Like I had to leave my friends and da da da. But in hindsight, now I see it was a big blessing because I have a different perspective. But okay, so that's the bad news. There's a lot of bad choices that you can eat in this country. Like so all right. I'm trying to gather thoughts. Here's the thing: like if you Google search what percentage of this country is overweight, you'll see it's around 80%. Some people think I'm a vegan. I'm not a vegan. Naturalite. Because I still eat meat if I want it. I eat fish. I just ate fish last night. Tracy Hornsby, I just seen the order come through. Tracy is love. But I don't consider myself a pescatarian because just like, and then too, what I like about, because a lot of times, like right now, I'm going to eat some of this fruit. And a lot of times, like when I do content, I'm not eating meat in the content because that's where I'm at now. But when this was me right here, this was 2014, when I was 260 pounds, and all the way up until this point in my 2014, I ate meat every single day. I was raised to believe that a full meal, like a balanced meal, was a starch, a vegetable, and a meat. That was a balanced meal. So that's how I always ate, And I lost, and here's the thing, I lost 80 pounds still eating like that, a starch, a vegetable, and a whey. I started to realize it was ingredients within those meals that was putting the weight on me. So, but I was talking about, I'm not a vegan, I'm not a pescatarian. I can't consider myself a vegetarian because here's the thing: with all of those categories of eating, like for example, veganism, I respect within veganism that it's like if you're a vegan, you don't eat the animal products. I get the wisdom in that now. Years ago, I didn't see the wisdom in it. I thought that it was actually would make you sick if you didn't eat protein. But I've grown to believe in something different at this period of my life. But for that reason, I'm not a vegan because I still eat every once in a while. I even eat some steak if I want it. Like, I cut chicken out recently, but the point where I might eat some goat, some lamb every once in a while, a couple of times a year. If I feel like it, I'll eat it. Every once in a while, I'll eat a piece of pizza if I want it. So I can't consider myself a vegan for that reason. But what I don't like about the term veganism, I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the term. What I don't like is it doesn't specify within the term of being a vegan that a vegan can't eat heavily processed ingredients and chemicals. It's nowhere in the definition. Like you can go to a vegan restaurant and get a vegan friendly option that is heavily processed and got chemicals in it, different ingredients within whatever dish you get. For example, like you could get some enriched bread and the bread doesn't have any animal products in it, but it was put through a heavy chemical process. Or you could get like vegan cheese, and it doesn't have dairy in it, but it was all type of emulsifiers and chemicals that was used to make it taste like cheese, or like Impossible burgers. You can get an Impossible burger. There's no actual flesh in it, but there's chemicals, like it's like a million chemicals. And so that's what I don't like is it doesn't specify that you can't get off the heavily processed foods and chemicals. And I talk about this in my book, to be real with you. I was able to lose the weight that I lost. 80, probably 75% of the battle was I learned how to identify heavily processed ingredients and chemicals. I learned what to look for in the ingredients. That's why I'm always saying read the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? That was the majority of the battle. Going through my weight loss journey, I realized I had gained 100 pounds because I was eating too much heavily processed foods and chemicals. That was the issue. If it makes sense what I just said, drop a 4 in the chat. Let me see who locked in. Oreo cookies are vegan. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't dissected the ingredients, but you're probably right. And that's the thing. That's a great point of what I'm saying. Okay, Kathy, I see you. So I see you. And same with vegetarianism. Like there's vegetarians, you could eat a veggie sandwich. And the veggie sandwich, it's got processed bread, processed flour that made the bread. And same with a pescatarian. Pescatarians, it doesn't specify when it comes to pescatarianism that you can't eat the heavily processed foods. So as I was looking around the landscape of like things to identify as, I was like, man, I can't identify as none of these things. So I created one, and I went through the process of starting that. About 2 years, I created the term Naturalite, and I went through the trademark process, and we just recently got the trademark. For now, I'm not a vegan, I'm a Naturalite. Look, this is how I spell it, Naturalite. Naturalite is someone who believes the ingredients matter. Look at that. You see what I say? That's why I'm always saying read the ingredients. A Naturalite is someone who avoids the heavily processed foods and chemicals. Like a vegan is someone who avoids products made with animal products. I'm not a vegan, I'm a Naturalite. If it makes sense what I just said, oh, I'm a Naturalite too. There you go. There's a lot of Naturalites out here that just it ain't been a term for it yet. There's a lot of vegans that are actually too. Some Naturalites don't eat meat. Some do. But we all believe in getting off the heavily processed foods and chemicals, and we want to read the ingredients because we want to know the processes of the ingredients and what they went through before they added to the products that we purchase and we put in our mouth, chew up, and swallow. I bet what they do, man. Pete, what they do. Reno, what's good? Yeah. So that's what it is. So I've been blessed to meet Ken Bob. Shout out Ken and Bob. They own one of the companies they own is called Medicate. I met them at a mastermind that I attended last year with Myron Golden. I segment of a mastermind, and I met them in that mastermind. And so we actually co-founded Naturalite together because I wanted to partner with somebody that understands a lot more, especially about product development and business strategy than I do. And so that's why you notice if you look at our website, gonaturalite.com. If you look at my old website compared to this website, you're gonna notice a big difference. So over the last few months, we've been in the back scenes developing products and working out the kinks and everything organized and lined up to really take Naturalite worldwide, because the vision that I have for Naturalite is see an America where natural chemical free food is the standard. Right now, the standard is heavily processed ingredients, chemicals in the food. That's the standard. So I want to see the standard change. Now, it's not like this everywhere that you travel in the world. It's not like this everywhere. You go to different countries, they don't serve the same stuff they serve the citizens here. They don't give their citizens that in other countries. They won't do it. Matter of fact, in other countries, a lot of the ingredients that they'll put it over here, it's illegal over there, and you'll go to prison if you do it. And I'm not trying to like be Mr. Peace Officer, and all these people that sell these food need to go to prison. That's not what I'm saying. My approach is different. What I'm saying is, as consumers, I believe consumer holds the power. Companies are able to keep doing what they're doing because there's not enough of us that are aware enough to read the ingredients. That's why I'm always, if you notice when I go in the grocery store, I don't talk about brands. I don't do that. I show the ingredients. That's why if you notice, and you'll notice this about me, I don't endorse brands like that. I'm not doing that. Maybe in the future, if it makes sense, I might, but I'll be doing it in a different type of way. What I endorse is being aware and reading the ingredients and choosing the most natural options that fit our budget. And so that's what a Naturalite is. A Naturalite is someone who chooses to be aware, educate ourselves what to look for in the ingredients, and only choose products that use as natural ingredients as possible. And so when there's millions of us doing that, the companies that are selling these products that are full of chemicals and processed ingredients, they're not going to be able to make the same amount of money to the point where they're going to start losing money. When there's millions and millions of us only buying products made with better ingredients and more natural ingredients, then companies are going to have to shift over to supply what there's a demand for. So we're not like picketing. We're not like stopping people that want to eat. If someone want to get some Oreos, we're not gonna lock arms and be like, don't eat. No, we're not doing that. We just, as individuals, as an individual, I just take responsibility for myself, and that's what it is. And then I vibe with people that also think the same thing, but I'm not trying to like believe what I believe. I'm just living my life, and I'm just talking my truth. That's what it is. If that makes sense, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense in the chat, I want to get into some details that I think will help. But before I do that, let me see who locked in, man. Let me Tina, what they do. Man, Key, what they do. Jessica, what's up? Script, what they do. Jonah, what's good? Your cookbook is great. I've lost 7 so far. Thank you. Lynn, congratulations. Congratulations. And comments like that, it really made me feel good because it's the psychology of it. Like, other people see that. And I've been in sales since I was 15. I've been selling. The first time I tried to sell something when it was younger than that. But I started really getting like selling stuff when I was 15 years old. I'm 42 now. So one thing about it, right? Because this is like a public environment, it's digital, but there's other people watching. So like one thing about it, like I noticed in sales, when one person does something, somebody will see that person did it, and then they'll come and do it. But if a bunch of people are saying bad things, or a bunch of people are saying back to back to back, everybody walking by that seeing them knows they're going to say no. I used to be, trust me, because I used to be in street sales. I would go out in the street, you feel me, and working for companies, and I would, different things, some legit, some not. But the point is, it's like I noticed that about people early, teenager, like you'll catch a wave when one person say yes, and there's other people around. then another person. Next thing you know, is a wave that happened. But when one person say no, two person, three person, four person, you got to start having a strong mind at that point, because it's going to be harder and harder for someone to say yes. You feel me? But they didn't know. Most people don't know that part about my journey. That's another thing. Most people don't know about all the no's, hundreds of thousands of no's people told me to my face. You feel me? And then rude with it. And I was just trying to give them something else. You know what I mean? Something. I got sidetracked. Let me get back on point, man. How to spell your company. It's not, the company's called Go Naturalite. So it's natural and then ITE, Naturalite. But it's a lifestyle. It's a term, it's a category, it's a mindset. A Naturalite becomes a Naturalite because they believe the ingredients matter and they're aware. You know what I'm saying? And also a Naturalite understands that the more of us that understand agriculture and start growing food, the better. Because that's another reason why there's companies are able to play so many tricks and be slick in the way that they put food together. There's not enough of us that understand go outside and produce the food out of nature. The creator of all things put it right outside. It does not cost me. That's why I titled my book, The More We Grow, the More We'll See. Everything we need is free. I see it all the time in the comments right now, especially. I wish I could eat healthy, but the health costs too much. Last time I checked, all food costs. Huh? Go look at the price of eggs right now. The white ones. I'm talking about the white ones. All food. Forget about oxtails. Forget about oxtails. I might as well go buy a gold ring. If I ate oxtails every day for a month, I could have went and bought some 24 karat gold, a nice amount, right or wrong. It ain't even to get fast food no more. No food is cheap no more. Right or wrong? Drop a yes in that if you agree. Drop a no if you disagree. Yeah, I seen eggs was over $10. I've never seen that in my life. I'm like, man, it's like $1. So, but this is the point what I'm trying to make, right? Even the fruits and vegetables, like the prices for produce is crazy. Like everything is going up. And so that's a whole nother story. But the point what I'm trying to make is, right? This is a papaya that grew on a tree for free. Watch this. Watch this. This is what I'm saying, right? This is my just opinion. I believe that prices are so high because for so many years, they done hit me with action on TikTok, man. Hit me with a restriction. Your live contains themes that some might find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Let me submit the feedback. My live does not contain the mentioned notice submitted. They put me on timeout on TikTok. They put me on timeout, and I'm glitching. But what are you gonna do? So, but the point what I was trying to make, right? This is why I believe food is they're able to charge what they're charging right now, right? Check this out. We've been programmed for so long to go to the grocery stores and the restaurants for food that we've been disconnected. Most people, not everybody, most of us have been disconnected from the source of where the food comes from. Like, for example, like I never even really thought about how bread, pasta, donuts, cookies, cakes, I never thought about, toaster strudels, pancakes, Eggo waffles, Pop-Tarts. I never thought about how all of those things come from the wheat plant. Everything I just mentioned, the main ingredient by far in all of those things is the wheat plant. And wheat grow like a weed. Like once it start going, man, it'll just start spreading wild. Wheat grows Wild. But most people don't even think about it. It's like we've been disconnected. So what I'm now that you can look at the price of donuts, look at the price of bread, look at the price of pizza, look at the price of everything that makes as a main ingredient, because most don't even know how to grow it. So if we don't know how to grow it, then we gotta go to the grocery store to get it, right or wrong. So it's the lack of awareness of how to grow the plants and the food plants, and it's a lack of awareness of how to acquire land. Most now it's to the point where most everybody is renting. I'm 42 years old. I still haven't purchased land yet. I'm on the process of doing that this year. What I'm saying is, and especially most everybody that I know, like from black neighborhoods in Miami, everybody been renting forever. So that's why they could charge so much. They know we need them. Right? And so then it's like doom and gloom. This is what I've been noticing. It's a lot of doom and gloom. Like, they don't care about us. You know what I mean? Everything, bad ingredients and everything. At least it tastes good. You only live once. We all got to die. You might as well enjoy yourself and eat what you want to eat. It's a lot of that type of mentality. But what I'm saying is, more of us need to take the responsibility of learning how to do these things, period. Otherwise, this is going to keep getting worse. I'm looking at the trajectory of how the price is going up, the quality of food is going down. If we don't do, if not enough of us actually learn culture, learn how to acquire land, learn how to these processes that these ingredients are getting put in the food, and actually start making different choices, who gonna change it? Check this out. So this is a papaya, right? Look at that. Look at all of them is papaya seeds. Now, all I gotta do is take these papaya seeds and drop them in some soil. I could literally drop these on top of the ground and walk away, and they'll start growing papaya trees. I did a video about it. I put it in a pot, these seeds in a pot, and I put a little bit of soil over the top of them. A week later, man, it was about 26 papaya trees springing up. For free. So then you gotta look at how many seeds is in there. It's at least a couple hundred seeds in one papaya. And one papaya tree make how many papayas? A couple times a year. So do the math. This is thousands of papayas every year from this one papaya. So that's why I believe the creator of all things is a God of multiplication. Whereas in the devil speak with a forked tongue and is the God of division. You get what I'm saying? If it makes sense what I just said, drop a yes in the chat. I'm getting mindset on this live. I'm trying to inspire people on this. I'm trying to inspire you to say, okay, you know what? I could do something about this. I could do something about it for me. I'm going to start with me. And once I master me, then I'm going to help my family, start getting situations better with my family. Then I'll start connecting with more people that think like I think. And then one step at a time, we'll be way less dependent on people that are showing that they don't care about you or me. Right now, I'm dependent on the grocery store. I got 3 gardens at my house. I still go to the grocery store. I'm still dependent on them. But good news, just like you got 80% bad options in the grocery store, you got 20% good options. So there are options that'll help you lose the weight you want to lose. And so you might feel like, dang, like it's like, oh, like 20% out of it. Like, but this is the best part, and I should talk about this in my book. The grocery store broke into sections, and it's about the same percentage in each section, 80-20. So 80% of the bread would lead you towards weight gain, but 20% will lead you away from weight gain. With the rice, same with the flour, same with the seasonings, same with the chips, same with the cookies, same with the produce, same with the canned goods. You get what I'm saying? Same with the juice. So when you go on grocery shopping, this is what me a lot. I break it up into sections. If I know I need bread, okay, bam, I'm attacking the bread section. Let me start reading the ingredients of the different options of the bread. Let me find the bread that was made with that wasn't put through the enrichment process. Let me taste it. Let me see if I like it. Let me find the bread that I like the way it tastes, that was made with the flour that wasn't put through the chemical process. So now that we're on the topic, let me ask you this. This is one of the things that helped. This was what made me, learning about the enrichment process got me on the path of becoming a Naturalite. For me personally, in my growth and development. Learning about the enrichment process is why I started reading the ingredients. I started reading the ingredients to make sure there was no enriched grains as an ingredient. So if you're unfamiliar with the enrichment process, y'all do me a favor, tap the screen. If you got any value from anything that I've said so far, tap the screen, smash the like button. YouTube, I see we got 154 people on the on the live, and we got 64 likes. If y'all could smash that like button, I'd appreciate it. If you want to send this live to somebody that you think it can help, I'd appreciate that. It'll boost up the numbers. Appreciate y'all, man. But let me ask you this. If you're unfamiliar, before I say that, let me. This is called the Leaf of Life plant. I've been meant to eat this. I don't know if you noticed, I've been kind of sniffling a little bit. My nose is getting runny. This leaf right here is like my medicine cabinet. This leaf, I'm so grateful for it. I can't put it into words. So anytime, like, when you getting sick and you feel sometimes your nose will start running and you kind of feel something in your throat and you'll be like, dang, I hope I ain't getting sick. And the next day you might not be sick. But the next day you might be sick and you'll be like, dang, I knew it. I felt it coming. If you ever had that happen, drop a 4 in the chat. Where you like, dang, I feel like I might be getting sick, but you don't quite know for sure. It could go either way, but you feel the symptoms. If you ever had that happen, drop 4 in the chat. I'm going to get back to the enriched grains in a second, but I forgot I've been meant to eat this. Drop a 4 in the chat if you ever had that happen. I got about another 30 minutes live, and I got to dip. We're taking our son to the batting cages. It's his birthday. I see y'all, man. Jessica, what's good? Marcus, what's good? Script, yeah, he's starting to get into baseball. He like soccer. He's different. He's different, man. Okay, so what's up, Lynn? Okay, so look, just when it comes to this plant, I heard about this from a lady from Jamaica, and she was saying, like, all you got to do, you take it and you eat it. You chew it up real good. You get all the juice out of it. Spit it out. At that point, you could just swallow the leaf, right? It's bitter and almost sour. It's like a sour. I don't like the way it tastes. But 95% of the time, 95 out of 100 times I've done this, when I feel sickness coming, that's the best time to catch it with the Leaf of Life. You eat a leaf right then. The next day on. But really, within 30 minutes, the symptoms go away. The next day, I'm definitely good. 95% of the time. Whereas at least 60% of the time I feel that sickness coming, I'm sick by the next day. It's called the Leaf of Life. And what's so dope, I shouldn't have ate it yet. What's so dope is the leaf, you gotta do is put it on the ground. I should have showed before I ate it. I'm tripping. It got little ridges on the leaf. Each one of the ridges it got a little seed in the ridge. And if you set the leaf on the ground, it'll grow. Each one of them ridges will grow another plant just by putting the leaf on the ground. That leaf, that plant multiplies like a weed. It grows so easy. If you branch on the ground, it'll grow more plants out of the branch. It's called the Leaf of Life. We be giving them away. We do giveaways, send it to people and all of that. But you can get it on Etsy. Like I'm telling you, if you get sick, like let's say you miss it, like if you're busy and you feel like you're getting sick, but you're not by the leaf and you end up getting sick. Once you get sick, and then you start eating the Leaf of Life 3 times a day, it'll cut that sickness at least in half. At least in half. So once I get sick, what I do is I'll eat the Leaf of Life and I'll take something like to mask the pain, like whatever, like I might take some, whatever, like, you know, you got like medicine you can get from the store. I'll do a combination. I'll eat the Leaf of Life to cut the time down of being sick, and I'll take the medicine to cut the feeling of being sick. And that's how I self-diagnosed. And trust me, I've been doing that since around 2020. I started eating the Leaf of Life. True story, man. I thank the creator of all things for for that plant. I'm telling you. You can get it online. If you can't find it, it grows outside well down here in the south, like in the more tropical climates. If you live up north, good news, you can grow it inside. You just get you a nice pot, put some good soil in it, and get you a couple leaves, drop them things, and it'll be growing. And it grow fast. So once it start growing, it's like you'll have a first aid kit right there. All right, so let me get back on topic. I was talking about enriched grains because I want to help some people lose weight on this live. Right? So I was asking, if you're unfamiliar with the relationship between enriched grains and weight gain, drop a 4 in the chat. If you're unfamiliar with relationships between enriched grains and weight gain, drop a 4 in the chat. Let me see who I can help with this. Sparkle, what's good? Okay, Jack, what's good? If you're unfamiliar with the relationship between enriched grains and weight gain, drop the number 4 in the chat. I was about to say your name, man, but I stopped cussing a while back. 48 seasons, what they do? Jones, what's up? What's popping? Hummingbird, I see you. Okay, Script, okay, I see the 4. It's good. Okay, good. Okay, Michael, what's up? I was about to keep it moving. So, enriched grains. This is actually called a watermelon plum. This is my first time seeing this. I had sprouts. So anytime you see the word enriched, it's specifying that it was put through the ultra chemical enrichment process. So it's a process that you could bring wheat through, rice through, and corn through. So it's a chemical process. And so what happens is they created in the late 1940s because they wanted to solve the problem of grains spoiling and going bad before they sold it. And so the part of the grain that spoils and goes bad is the life germ. The life germ is inside of wheat, it's inside of rice, it's inside of that. Those are the vitamins and minerals and compounds that actually creates life. Like, because the wheat grain is actually seed for more wheat plants. Same with rice, right? It tripped me out and you know what? I didn't realize this until last year, that rice is a seed. I was like, how I lived over 40 years and never thought about how rice is actually a seed. I never thought about rice was a seed. I never thought about that. Same with corn. I knew corn was a seed, but I never thought about wheat being a seed, and especially not rice. If you never thought about rice being a seed, drop a yes. Matter of fact, drop a 4 in the chat. If you never thought about rice being a seed to grow more rice plants, drop a 4 in the chat. It bugged me out, man. I'm like, I was alive 40 years and never knew rice was a seed. And I wasn't even like I learned it, like, because what it was called the life germ. It's the life germ that's inside of a rice grain. And I'm like, I wonder if it's called that because I was like, how does rice plant reproduce? I'm like, is rice the seed? I looked it up, sure enough. I was like, oh my God, that's why they call it a life germ. It got the element of life in it. But anyways, that's the part of the grain that spoils and goes bad. So they use chemicals where they're able to remove that life germ. So what's left is like an empty grain, an empty calorie. And so then what they do, they add synthetic nutrients to replace the natural nutrients that was lost during the chemical enrichment process. And so one of the problems is it leads to weight gain because there's no life energy left in it, one. And so our body doesn't really know what to do with that. And so what our bodies does when we eat something with no life energy, our body turns it to fat. Because what our body is looking at is like, okay, we must be going through periods of time where we're not going to be able to eat that much. We're eating whatever we can get our hands on. You know, a lot of us had ancestors that lived in cold environments, and so you would like pickle food and canned food and all of that. And what happens? The life energy goes down, but it'll get you through the winter. And what our body does is it turns it to fat, so it could burn that fat off for energy. So when I learned that, I was like, dang, that's crazy. So that's the process. So how you know if something is enriched? Check this out. Let me show you. This helped me lose. I'm telling you, this helped me lose weight. It's gonna help you lose if you eat enriched grains. This is gonna help you lose Let me show you because I'm a visual learner and I like to learn visually. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This right here is an example of enriched wheat. So this is the flour that I grew up on, the all-purpose flour. And if you notice right here, it says bleached enriched. So a lot of times when it comes to enriched products, it'll say it on the front of the pack, but sometimes it don't. It's all right. It's called a watermelon plum. It kind of is definitely some type of hybrid. I wanted to see how it tasted. It's straight. I'm gonna get it again. I'll tell you how much. I'll eat these though. I'll probably put it in a smoothie or something. It's not that sweet. But anyway, so how you know if something is enriched? If it don't say it on the front of the pack, they have to list the synthetic vitamins and the nutrients that they added to replace the natural nutrients that was inside that life germ. And they're right here in the ingredients. You'll see the synthetic niacin, iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, enzymes. So that's how you know that this was put through the ultra chemical enrichment process. This is an ultra processed food. And so I never knew that. I didn't know that until I was 31 years old. When I looked at flour, I did not look at this like it was an ultra processed food. When I thought about ultra processed foods, I thought about like Twinkies or like Oreo cookies. But this is by definition an ultra processed, an chemical processed food. And so it leads the weight gain. Goes. Just like they sell these in the grocery store, they also sell the wheat plant that was made into flour that wasn't put through that chemical process. And here go an example of flour that's in the same store. I don't like to talk about brands. I like to say, okay, let's read the ingredients. Because sometimes brands will change the ingredients or they'll sell the company and the people that buy it will keep the packaging the same because you trust it and they'll change the ingredients on you. So that's why I don't do the brand thing. Recommend brands. I recommend reading the ingredients. Right here, right here in the ingredients. Hard red wheat flour and soft wheat flour. That's all that's in this. Compared to bleached wheat flour, niacin, synthetic iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, enzymes. So when I switched from eating this type of products made with this type of flour, pasta, cookies, cakes, pizza, donuts, all type of things flour make, and started eating this type of flour and products made with the natural flour, I went to losing weight, cookies, cakes, pasta, all those things. I didn't eat less. I wasn't counting calories. None of that. I just got off the ultra processed wheat grain and went to the wheat grain that wasn't put through that chemical process. Still eating the same foods. As a matter of fact, I like the way this wheat flour tastes even better. You can tell the difference. It tastes better and it don't sit so heavy in your stomach. Can you show the brand it was? Okay, Jen, that's why I mentioned what I just mentioned. I don't recommend branding. And here's the thing. I actually talk about this in my book, in the mindset chapter. Chapter 3 in my book is the most important chapter. Is mindset. And this is very important to be aware of. Right here, chapter 3, you see it say mindset. There's a such thing as programming, right? And it's knowledge. It goes way back thousands and thousands of years. There's ways that you can program people to do what you want them to do. So these tactics have been used on our entire lives ever since we was in our mother's womb. And there's so many different ways to program somebody. But one of the ways we've been programmed is to be a consumer, purchases things based on brand recognition. And what I'm doing is trying to help reprogram and help people reprogram their mind, be a consumer that consumes based on the ingredients and what is in it. I don't recommend brands because I've seen these 20 times where brands will have all natural ingredients and then the ingredients change and now they're putting heavily processed and chemicals inside that same option. Someone else just asked the name of the flour. It's a wheat flour that wasn't put through the chemical enrichment process. So when next time you go to the grocery store, this is what I'm encouraging you to do. When you go to the wheat section, don't even look at the front. Turn it around and look at the ingredients. Here's the thing. Brands that are sold in the Southeast are different than brands that are sold in the Southwest and Northwest and the Midwest and the Northeast. different brand names. So that's another reason why I don't like to give brands, because it might not even be available in your area. But you'll find it when you look. You want a flour that where it just shows the type of wheat being used. For example, this only has hard red wheat flour and soft wheat flour. You'll know if it's enriched because you'll see the synthetic ingredients added. This says bleached wheat flour. Then it says iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, enzymes. So there's multiple brands that sell enriched flour. And there's multiple brands that sell the flour that wasn't enriched. The only way to know is to read the ingredients. If it makes sense what I just said, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense, drop a no. Prayers up, blessings up. Joe, what they do, man? Not to be paranoid, but what's to stop these companies from lying and saying they're not enriched, but they really are? That's a great question. And here's the thing about that. And I'm the paranoid type. My wife noticed about me. Yeah, like for real. It's not that I'm gonna treat like I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. I'm like, I've been lied to so many times. This country's just like programmed everybody to be liars. A big liar. You know, I didn't start changing that part of myself until really when I was about probably 37. When I started being better before then, but really getting like standing on that square of being an honest, ethical person, you know? And so that it's hard to trust people. But the thing is, here's the thing. There are laws in place. So if you put that it's natural in the ingredients and then somebody tests it, because all you got to do is do a chemical test. And there's ways to test all of this. And ways to test it, the information is right on YouTube. You could YouTube search how to test if flour is natural or not. And there'll be all type of videos that pop up. And then you could get the equipment that you need, the chemicals you need to test it, whatever. You could test it yourself. And so when you test it, now you got the proof of testing, right? Now, if they're lying, lawsuit time. So that's the thing. But if nobody check them, then they could just keep selling it. But if they get caught, then they got to face the repercussions of that. So this is what I noticed, right? Because this was me. Because you might be like, well, like just lie and just put anything. So why even read and try to make better choices if you just lie anyway? You got to be careful letting your mind take you down that path. And because then you might not make the changes that you could make that's going to help you get the results that you want if you are trying to lose weight, especially. Because what happened for me and what's happened to thousands of people that I've been able to help is we started losing weight when we made that change. And so and how we know is because we was weighing ourselves every day and we was keeping track of our choices. And so the weight started coming down. And so that's how we know that this right here is a better option than this. Because when I switched from this to this, I was still eating the same amount of flour and products made with flour, but I was losing weight. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And this is why I consider myself a naturalite. You know? Because I'm looking at the ingredients, like I see another one. The FDA approves products that don't list everything in the ingredient item. So we can go down and actually talk about this in Mindset chapter of my book. And I actually talk about this in my agriculture book too. The more we grow, the more we see everything we need is free. We can go down not careful. I know for me personally, if I'm not careful and I'm not the gatekeeper of my thoughts, my mind can take me down a path of doom and gloom. And I could feel like overwhelmed with all of the lies and deceit and the lack of being able to trust anybody, and then going down that path and lose my capability and my power of making better choices with the resources that I have available to me. Does that make sense? Like, everybody doesn't have a farm in the back and can grow their own food. So we got to go to the grocery store, right? Options in the grocery store that are better than other options. And you can find out reading the ingredients. So let's start there. Once we start to say, well, the FDA is letting lies slide and people don't even test it and da-da-da. Next thing you know, it could get easy to be like, well, I might as well just eat what I want anyway because everything bad. And if you do got, I'm talking to, especially on this live, I'm talking to people that got to go to lose, do got to go to lose weight. You're tricking yourself out of your blessing. I know because when I started losing, when this was me, I was 100, I was 200 pounds. When this was me and my wife and our children, we was living in the Pine Island Project. We was in extreme poverty at that period of my life. And I started making different choices and I got different results. So there's always options that are a step in a better direction. And this is how we could start, is by reading the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? Trust. You gotta just trust. And then what happened is that step and staying consistent to that step. What happened for me was the weight started coming off me. My mind started to clear up, and then I started to have ideas about an even better choice that I could make. And then I was like, okay, let me make this choice and let me gauge my results. Let me weigh myself and see if this choice is better than what I used to do. And then I'd stay doing that for a while. My mind started clearing up, and then I would have different thoughts. And one step leads to the next step, leads to the next step. But we gotta have a mindset of taking steps in a better direction, one day at a time, man. There's always a better that we can make than what we used to make that led us to where we're at now. If we're trying to get into a better area of life, all it is a direction that we gotta take. Because as you look around, I'm sure that you notice other people, like if I'm not where I want to be, and I'm noticing somebody else is, like I would love to be where they're at, they got themselves there. So if they got themselves there, I can get myself there. We got to think like that. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in areas where you don't want to be. You can get to where you want to go. Trust me. It's just like the devil exists, because that's the devil right now. At least that's what I believe. I believe that's the devil. I believe the devil is a real entity, like I believe that the God that created this world is a real entity too. Just like I'm an entity, just like you. The devil, the one that got us like, dang, you can't trust nothing. But God made the devil. So also there's a lot of truths out here and there's a lot of options out here that's going to bring me into a heavenly state. So where I want to put my focus, that's on me. If I want to focus on the fact that there's a lot of liars and lies and it's hard to trust anything, I'm focusing on the devil. Or I could focus on the fact that there's a God that created all of this. So the truth is out here. Now I'm focusing on God. And then what I noticed, because I used to be that one that focused on the devil, not intentionally, but that was me. I used to watch the conspiracy movies and conspiracy YouTube videos and all that. I was into all of that. And it led me being 100 pounds overweight, living in the Pine Island projects in extreme poverty, and things I don't even talk about publicly that I've experienced behind my thought process. And blaming the government, blaming this, I was blaming. I was just focusing on the wrong things, man. When I was on God and the fact that I could be honest and learn morality and what it is to be ethical, study those words and start making ethical, moral choices and treat my body with honor and respect and focus on nature and the way everything is and learn how to work with it and start to focus on that content and start cutting out all the rap music and over-sexualized things that I used to focus on. And you get what I'm saying? Like, I just shifted my focus and I stopped watching those things and started watching things, and I stayed consistent. That's how I got to where I'm at right now. Mindset right now, because really, if you do got to go to lose weight, that's the only thing that's really stopping. This is what I believe. The only thing, if you got to lose weight, the only thing stopping you from losing the weight you want to lose is right here. The lack of awareness, and it's a lack of control of what you choosing to focus on. That's why I do my best to get people to focus on the ingredients in food, because that's where you can get to the truth. There's still tricks within the ingredients. For example, salt. I like food to have flavor. We all need to focus on growing food. It starts there. Yeah, that's why I wrote my book, man. But I think I think it's very important. I think it's very important. But then at the same time, like, like let's say you live in the projects, or let's say you live in an apartment building, or let's say you live in like a poor neighborhood, right? I can relate. growing food might be kind of like, oh, what? Different how they doing this. They making me prove I'm not a robot on TikTok. There we go. But it could be difficult to think about growing food, especially when you're dealing with poverty. You know what I mean? Part of me that can never forget, like I will never forget, because I spent years in that, and so it's, I don't like to not address that area of reality. You know what I'm saying? So if you are lacking money and it's kind of like tough to get by right now, where it's like that for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? If that is where you're at and you are trying to lose weight, I think the first step is to focus on the grocery store and the that you're making in the grocery store and restaurants. Start there. And then when it comes to growing food, grow some basil in a pot. If you like oregano, grow some oregano in a pot. Just grow some herbs. If you like mint, grow some mint in a pot and keep it alive. You can grow a mint plant that lasts for years, and you could be clipping mint off it the whole time. Keep the soil, keep the fertilizer level right. Keep it in the right area where it's getting sunlight. You have a herb plant that keeps producing for you, and just learn through the process of taking care of that plant. You'll start to see the process of taking care of all plants. So that'll be a good step. That makes sense? What I just said. Let me see. He don't preach, trying to teach some ignorant people in here. Let me see. We also have an old barn that has ruined half our soil, tons of metals 2 feet down. Interesting. See, that's the next level of the game. That's the next level. I'm looking forward to. I got that type of space, and I could really, and that's the type of stuff I got to be aware of too when I'm purchasing big areas of land. What's going on up underneath the ground? Like I didn't even know what a water table was until recently. Yeah, it was like this year. I learned a water table this year. It's like underneath the ground. Like where's the water table? Like how far down do you have to dig before you hit the water table? And that's like to make a well. But there's areas all around here where the water table like 4 or 5 feet down. Like you have to dig that far to hit it, and it's just water down there. And so that because what it was, I was over here at this shout out Eduardo, because I had planted a jackfruit tree over there. It was like a fruit tree planting project that we did over on his property over here in the Redlands homestead in Miami. And I put the jackfruit tree in the ground, and they had a machine that dug like a hole in the ground, and then they put dirt on the bottom of the hole, and I planted it, and I went back, and the jackfruit tree taller than me. Went back like a year and a half later. Recently, I went back over there, and I was like, I noticed that he ain't had no irrigation. And I was like, how you water all these trees? Because all the fruit trees, there was like 85 fruit trees that got planted that same day when I put the jackfruit tree in the ground. And I was like, I was like, would you come out here and water them yourself? Like he was like, nah, we don't never have to water them because the water table 5 feet deep. So it's dug down to the water table. And the roots will make their way down into the water table, so we don't have to worry about it. I was like, mate, the what? He was like, the water table. He explained to me. I was like, I didn't even know that. So imagine if I'm trying to buy land, you feel me, to grow on. That's a good piece of information to understand. How far down is the water table before we make a deal here? I want to know, you feel me? For real. But you don't know what you don't know until you get there, you feel me? That's why I always learning as I grow, like, Anyways. Some plants. So, I understand, agree. It's the key. I know that's right, babe. Everything. So, anyways, what time is it? 12:52. I'm surprised my wife ain't back yet. This is an Asian pear right here I was gonna eat. Let me ask y'all a question before I get up out of here. I don't think I ever had an Asian pear. Because here's the thing, like I coach people one-on-one to lose weight. We do group coaching. We started the Naturalite weight loss community. It's about to launch. It's a formula that I have where I have over a 90% success rate. And you'll start to see more of that type of content coming out. because we got all type of video testimonials and everything that I haven't even been showing, like, but we're about to start growing because I wanted to have a Naturalite community where I wanted to have a space where people could come together and we could motivate each other, keep each other, hold each other accountable to, staying aware, consistent, and following, the principles of a Naturalite, knowing that the ingredients matter, where, it could just be a spot where we, it's that in the community, a lot of valuable information. And so we're organizing all of that. But why I'm saying that is because one of the things that I do, especially in coaching, and I'll be doing that inside the community too, is to get a little more detail. I ask people, what food is it that you feel like is keeping you from where you want to be? Look at Maceo. Shout out Maceo on Facebook. He's founding members of the Eat What You Love and Way Less reprogram. I was just talking about it, bro. What's up, Maceo? Maceo actually lost over 20 pounds in 1 month working with us. But he actually also was just coming off of surgery. He had a lot of water weight on him, but that water weight came off and he lost weight on top of that. Shout out Maceo, man. Everything is good, man. How you been, bro? But anyways, one of the things I like to do is I like to ask people, what's the food that you feel like is keeping you from your goal? A lot of us have that in our mind, like maybe sweets, it might be fried chicken, whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? What is that food? And what I like to do, I like to give you an option where you could still eat what you like, but a different, better version of that same food, so you can start losing weight. You don't got to give up what you like. So I'm gonna ask y'all that. What is that food for you? Drop it in the comments so I can see if I can help you out real quick before I get up out of here, because as soon as my wife back, I'm about to dip. I'm surprised she ain't back. Let me see. You gotta go weed. I used to, once it gets legal, I used to want to do that. The old me would have been hype about that, but I actually, I changed, man. So I'd rather grow benefit plants that are beneficial in a different type of way. I grew out of that phase of my life. Chips, I see chips, potatoes, a lot of potatoes. Fried chicken, sugar. Sweets is definitely my downfall. Bread, pasta, fried food, ice cream, sweets and carbs, chocolate, ice cream, sweets. Okay. Sweets and carbs I'm seeing the most of. I'm going to do sweets. Okay, I'm going to do sweets. So check it out. I lost 100 pounds still eating sweets. You know what I mean? I love, especially me personally, I like chocolate chip cookies the most. So with sweets, it's actually like a two-piece thing. One, it's the sugar. But more so than the sugar with a lot of sweets, it's the flour. Cookies, the main ingredient in cookies is flour. Cake, donuts, pastries. The ingredient where it's the most that in a lot of sweets is flour. And the majority of the time when we buy it pre-made, or even if we make it homemade, we're eating it made with the enriched flour. So we feel like it's the sweets that's the issue. But if you like cakes, cookies, pastries, like guava cheese pastries and all of these type of things, if you eat a lot of those type of sweets, it's really the flour that's the biggest issue. I lost more weight making the switch from the enriched flour than I did making the switch getting off the granulated white table sugar and the high fructose corn syrup. So it's a double-edged situation with sweets. We got to also think about the flour with the sweets. Does that make sense? If it makes what I just said about the flour, so instead of eating sweets made with this type of flour, start to eat the sweets made with the flour that wasn't put through that ultra chemical enrichment process. The thing you see in the ingredients is just the type of flour being used. Hard red wheat flour, soft wheat flour. Eating the sweets and you look at the ingredients and you see it got the bleached wheat flour, then you see iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, enzymes. You know that, don't eat that one. Don't eat that cookie. Don't eat that cake. Eat a cake that's made with the flour that wasn't put through that process. If that made sense, and then I'm going to get to the sweetening agent next. If that makes sense, drop a yes in the chat. If it didn't make sense, drop a no. A lot of times with sweets, it's not as much the sugar, it's more so the flour. If it makes sense, drop a yes in the chat. This is very important. If you like sweets, I still eat cookies today. Matter of fact, I'm about to show you something. Watch this. Now next, I see the yes is dropping. Watch this. Next, I'm showing. I meant to grab some what's name. Watch this though. Watch this though. So now, look at our daughter Jacinta just made these cookies. These are chocolate chip cookies. Look at it. Oh, look at them chocolate chip cookies. So our daughter made this recipe is actually in our cookbook. But it's made with this type of flour. Natural flour. It ain't made with the ultra-processed chemical enriched flour. 1, 2, it's the sweetener. So I grew up on this type of sugar. The granulated white table sugar. Most sweets uses this. And a lot of sweets also is going to use high fructose corn syrup when you read the ingredients. This granulation is a process kind of like the Enriched process. It's an ultra chemical process that is used to make white table sugar. White table sugar is a mix between the sugarcane plant and also beets to make this white granulated processed table sugar. Whereas then also, so when I learned that and what I did, I looked it up, like the process of making ultra processed store-bought and white granulated table sugar. I YouTube searched that. How to make white granulated processed store-bought table sugar. Search it like that. Be specific with the and you'll see the videos pop up and you can watch them. And it's just a super chemical process to get it to the point where it's just white table sugar. And one of the side effects of this sugar game, because it's hard for our bodies to break it down, and there's also very enticing, make us want to keep eating, and then there's other side effects, especially mental. This right here, it's been linked to Alzheimer's, memory loss, all type of brain problems eating this type of sugar. And what makes me so bad, like when you study research, and I'm not making that, this is public information. What really makes me feel the way about this is that they get this when we're kids with the candy. Knowing how addicting it is. This is like more addicting than there's research on how white table sugar is more addicting than Coke. So I stopped eating sugar and I get the raw organic cane sugar or just raw cane sugar. And when it looked like this, I would have had a package, but you see how this got like a little tint to it? It's a little more, it got color to it. This is made with the sugar cane plant and it's put through way less of a process than this. So when I switched from this and products made with this and products made with this, I started losing weight still eating sweets. But in ingredients, this is what you got to be aware of. This is not, you're not going to see granulated sugar in the ingredients. You're just going to see sugar. So when it comes to like cookies, cakes, whatever you buy that's already made, pre-made, in the ingredients, it'll just say sugar. If it's made with cane sugar. Y'all ready? All right, I got to get up out of here. If it makes sense what I just said, drop a yes in the chat. If it makes what I just said, drop a yes in the chat.
Put the ice creams in your ice cream.
I'm not a vegan, I'm a Naturalite, man. Look at the new packaging. We're sending out, we're about to put about 200 plus books in the mail right now. And they're all going to be coming in this new package. A Naturalite is someone who knows the ingredients. We choose to be aware of the processes that the ingredients do. And we're avoiding the heavily processed foods and chemicals, just like vegans avoid products made with animal products. You feel me? That pretty much sums up how I would lose 100 pounds and keep it off. The key is knowing what to look for. So Naturalite goes through that process of education. That's why I go live like this. That's why I wrote my books. That's why we got a weight loss community and everything that we're doing with Go Naturalite, just to bring about new reality of natural chemical-free food being the American standard. So if you got to go to lose weight, I do got to go to help. I wish I'd been on this live a little bit longer, but at the same time, I don't, because we about to take our son to the batting cage. It's his birthday today. And so look, We're doing an Easter sale on the books. If anybody want to grab a copy, feel free. I got the sale link underneath my profile picture. And that's pretty much that, man. I wish y'all the best. I hope this live helped. Prayers up, blessings up. Man, if I could.